Hey everyone, PB Ekataku here. There's been a lot of updates in the anime figure world. Wonfes 2025 winter happened not too long ago, and even before that, lots of figures were revealed, and some really cool stuff I didn't even know about recently went up for pre-order. There's a lot to go over, so for this video, I'll be covering static figures, meaning scale figures, and Pop-Up Parade. Those two are definitely my favorites when it comes to anime figures. Just real quick, if you enjoy the content, make sure to drop a like, leave a comment, and sub to the channel. Those simple things really help out. So with that out of the way, let's get into some figure goodness. I'm gonna start off with some Pop-Up Parade figures, and for the rest of this video, I'll just refer to them as pups. First thing on the menu, Rysalind Stout. She's wearing her debut outfit, minus the jacket. It's actually the same outfit the Luminasta Ryza I reviewed recently is wearing. My only problem with this Ryza pup is that there's a noticeable lack of barrel, so I'm not sure if I'll get this. Continuing with video games, here's some pups from Fire Emblem 3 houses. We have Dorothea, Sylvain, and Hilda. They're all looking pretty classy. I'm not familiar with 3 houses, so I don't really know about these characters. In case you missed it, pups of both male and female Byleth also went up for pre-order. Fire Emblem figures are known for skyrocketing in value in the second-hand market, but fortunately for pup figures, that doesn't seem to be the case. They appear to be readily available from figure retailers, and going off of Mandarake's most recent sold prices, they don't appear to be very high. Last one for video games. From Persona 5, we have a pup of Arsene, Ren Amamiya's initial persona, much like Izanagi was for Yu Narakami and Orpheus was for Makoto Yuki. Out of the initial persona and modern persona, meaning 3 to 5, I think Arsene looks the coolest. Did anyone else feel a little sad when Arsene said farewell after fusing him to another persona for the first time? Yes? No? Okay, well why don't we just look at some anime pups now. To join the Pup L line from Lycoris Recoil, Takina Inoue, and Chisato Nishikigi have been announced. These are called after party versions, which looks like they're wearing fancy dinner party dresses. I'm looking forward to seeing the painted prototypes. Here's unpainted prototypes of Fine Motion and Rice Shower from Uma Musume Pretty Derby. We also have an unpainted prototype of Lime from Saber Marionette. This is some real old school shit here. What's funny about unpainted prototypes is that sometimes depending on the outfit, characters can look naked because there's no way to tell what's clothes and what's skin. Here it looks like Lime is only wearing a very revealing G-string on her bottom half, but if we look at a colored illustration, she's doing the old superhero thing, which is wearing underwear outside your outfit. Here's another Pup L figure, the Sword Maiden, from Goblin Slayer. You think she'll look good next to the Pup L Priestess? Then, we have a Beach Queen's Pop-Up Parade Asuka from Evangelion. Eva figures are always great, whether the characters are in their plug suits, school uniforms, or casual clothes. As for the last pup, it's of some VTuber named Toa Tokayami. The only VTuber I know of is Doki Bird, so whatever. Let's move on to scale figures. That's my jam. We're gonna start off with the series that seemed to dominate Wonfes, Blue Archive. Let's start off with a simple announcement. Here's a swimsuit version of Amy. It looks like she's got on snowboarding goggles rather than swimming goggles though. That's a little weird, but whatever. Looking at other parts of the teaser like the penguins, bucket, and shovel, I'm guessing this might have a bit of an elaborate base. Onto a few unpainted prototypes. Here's a dress version of Aruriku Hachima. That's quite a last name, isn't it? Anyways, she's followed by a dress version of Hina Sorosaki. Even though I haven't played Blue Archive yet, it's really easy to tell a character is from this game. Just look at the halo looking things over their heads. I forgot to mention, both of these unpainted prototypes are being manufactured by Good Smile Company. This unpainted prototype of Sakurako Utazumi looks really good. I can't wait to see this painted. There's no way I could be disappointed with this. Knock on wood. Now for the good stuff, the fully painted prototypes. To start off, we have another dress version character. This time, it's Ako Amao. She's looking really solid, and like the other Blue Archive dress figures, this one is also being made by Good Smile. Up next, we've got a very blue Yugioh Kiryu, a Blue Archive character wearing blue? Who'd have thought? It's brilliant. Here we have Plana. This isn't one of Good Smile's products. It's being made by a company called Thousand. I really don't know much about them, but it looks like they're up and coming. There's a decent amount listed in their entry page on my figure collection. By Max Factory, who's a subsidiary of Good Smile Company, here's a bunny girl Karen Kakadate. I'm a bit surprised this is being made, especially when this version by Good Smile Arts Shanghai already exists. This one looks better, but if people want something simpler, I don't blame them. The last Blue Archive figure that got my attention was the Saori Jome by Wonderful Works. They're a relatively small company, but have a great resume. I actually do own one of their figures, their offering of Mona from Genshin Impact. I can't get a shot of mine right now, but she's a great figure. Because of how good Mona is, I'm really looking forward to Saori. Are any of you looking forward to the upcoming Blue Archive figures? I certainly am. I have Max Factory's Bunny Toki and Good Smile's Ichika pre-ordered. On to the next series that also had quite a presence at Wonfes, Nike, Goddess of Victory. I swear, figures for this series were really slow to come out. At first, all we had was an Ichibansho Rappy, and now, look at what's available for pre-order. It's crazy. So what exactly showed up at Wonfes? Once again, we'll start off with the announcements. First up is Helm Chandelier Light. I assume those chandeliers in the illustration will be part of the figure. If so, I'm curious to see how Max Factory does that. Up next, we have a Cinderella Glass Princess version. If the Nike logo wasn't there, I would have thought this was an Azur Lane character. On to the unpainted prototypes. Here's Modernia. Whenever I see characters with floating mechanical looking things around them, I always think of the Neptunia goddesses. Up next, we have Dorothy by Good Smile Art Shanghai. I didn't mention this before, but I feel GSA Shanghai exceeds the parent company when it comes to quality. I bet Dorothy will look amazing. This Quincy figure, also by Good Smile Art Shanghai, is interesting to say the least. I mean, I've seen some anime figures with odd poses, but this just takes the cake. I'm likely not getting this, I just thought it was worth showing. Once again, gotta love unpainted prototypes making characters look naked. It's definitely not the case though. Here's another one by GSA Shanghai. Just how many Nike figures are they making? It's not a complaint really. Anyways, here's Scarlet. This one's more to my liking, and at first glance, I thought this was a Blue Archive figure because of that halo looking thing over her head. Here's Cinderella again, but a more dynamic version of her by Hobby Sakura. This is a quarter scale figure, and at that size, pose, and everything else this figure has, she's gonna be expensive. Great figure worth showing off, but this might not be for me. We'll end the Nike figures with something more to my liking. This White Rabbit by, take a guess. Yeah, GSA Shanghai. It's a fairly simple looking sculpt and not overtly fanservice-y. That's good because if something's too fanservice-y, well, don't want to get in trouble here. Let's move on to Yugioh, as the series also had a decent showing at Wonfes. First up, some figures by Amokuni, and they're all fully painted prototypes. Here's Brionac, Dragon of the Ice Barrier. Then we have one of the earliest Synchro monsters, the Red Dragon Archfiend. This is a notable one for me, but honestly, I would love to see a figure of Goyo Guardian, especially due to its initial reputation of being a busted card. Next, we have the Yugioh figure I'm looking forward to the most, Aki Izayoi or Aki Izinski in the West. She looks really good and has an amazing outfit, no complaints here. And we'll finish with Jack Atlas. I'm not really feeling how he looks, but I bet he'll still be an amazing figure. And boy howdy, he towers over the other duelist. He's even bigger than the Red Dragon Archfiend. This is it as far as Wonfes updates go for Yu-Gi-Oh figures, but I wanted to highlight two figures from the series that recently went up for pre-order that also look astonishing. First up, the Silent Magician by Mega House. Everything about this figure looks like a massive W. You just can't go wrong with the Magic Girl with a giant witch hat, some impressive Zettai Ryoiki, and heels. Now if you thought it couldn't get any better, well, here's Magician's Valkyria by Max Factory. I really don't even need to talk about the figure, she speaks for herself. Just look at her. However, I should add that Magician's Valkyria even had her own display at Wonfes. That's how big a deal she is. I normally don't pre-order figures right away anymore, but I paid the price for putting off pre-ordering some older Yu-Gi-Oh figures, and I am not repeating that mistake again. Here's a big gripe I have. How is there not a single scale figure of Anzu Mizaki? Considering she's the love interest of the main character Yugi and effectively the main girl of the series, it just seems kinda odd. Finally, some recent figure announcements that really got my attention. This scale figure of Noctis from Final Fantasy XV was recently unveiled. Square Enix released non-action figures of Final Fantasy characters as part of their static arts line, but the quality has typically been questionable. This time, it's different. These are not being made in-house by Square Enix. The manufacturer is Good Smile Company. So it's really cool to finally see Square Enix license out Final Fantasy to a more trusted figure company. Square Enix did it frequently with Nier Automata, so I think it was long overdue for Final Fantasy to be licensed out. Speaking of Nier Automata, this 2A scale figure by Max Factory is currently in the works. She's been getting figure love at the same level as 2B lately. Let's switch back to Final Fantasy with this Lightning figure. Even though I played very little of 13, I think Lightning is one of the best looking Final Fantasy protagonists. This one looks really cool, and maybe I'm getting way ahead of myself, but I think it'd be cool to see scale figures of Lightning in her 13-2 and Returns outfits. What do you think? From what I read, these are going to be 1/6 scale figures, and they're relatively simple. Even at that size, I can't imagine these figures being that expensive. Like with Magician's Valkyria, these might be an instant pre-order for me. Noctis actually went up for pre-order, so let's check them out.